Good morning, guys. MoneyWise number 8. Can you believe it? Y'all can talk. It's really awkward when you don't talk.
Sorry. Yes, 8 weeks strong.
Number 8.
I tell you, Kelly, this has been so fun. 1, figuring out how to use this platform, but 2, carrying relevant information week over week over week on this platform and still getting social engagement that we were hoping for. So I'm proud of us.
It's really fun. We are super excited about everybody who's joined us so far and all the different topics that we've been talking about. And we want to do a shout out to our winners from last week for the $25 gift card. We've got Ryan Lerman, congratulations, and Kendra McBride. Thank you guys for commenting, liking, sharing, all of the above. And make sure, if you're watching this now, go ahead and go into the comments, drop us a line. You're entered to win. You're entered to win even extra time if you like and share as well. So make sure you share to help get the word out. I think that's why the predatory lending one caught fire the way it did, is because people were sharing it. And so we had a lot of people watching it. So, and Herschel's kind of a celebrity. So, you know, there's that too. Okay, well, we're going to jump in. We are going to give you guys 2 lessons in 1 today. So now for some of you younger viewers, so when I say younger, I'm going to say if you're middle school or younger, some of this may be hard for you to really comprehend, but that's okay, because at least we're exposing you to a new idea that you haven't thought about before. Because if you are entering middle school, believe it or not, you will be preparing for college in 6 years. Some of your parents watching this are going, that's nuts. I have a 12-year-old in the next room who's in 6th grade. We are already talking about how we're going to pay for college, right? And what we're doing to get on that track. So parents, this is good for you. Younger folks, this is good for you. If you are middle school and above, especially above, I'm going to say if you were in high school, this is a super relevant topic for you, because some of you guys are already having conversations with your parents about how you're going to pay for college, where you want to go to college, why you want to go to college, what degree you want to seek. Some of you guys are like, I have no clue. Why do I have to go back? That's my, he's like, if I don't get some sort of sports, like, you know, scholarship, I'm not interested. But there's a lot of great opportunities to pay for college. So we're going to talk student loans one-on-one, and then we're going to talk about how you can save on tuition, okay? So I'm going to jump on over. We're going to start watching Jen, and this one's super funny. You guys are going to love it.
But I thought you got that scholarship or whatever.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't cover everything. It's just kind of hard to know what the best option is.
Mac and cheese.
Excuse me?
The best option today is mac and cheese.
We're actually talking about student loans.
Yeah, for college.
College, huh? If you ask me, student loans are the meatloaf surprise of post-secondary education. A lot of students opt for it without understanding the risk that lies ahead.
That can't be good.
Student loans come in 2 basic food groups, federal and private. Federal student loans are government funded. Private student loans can come from banks, credit unions, schools, or other private institutions. The interest rate for federal student loans is set by Congress. It's a fixed rate that's often lower than private loan rates. The interest rate for private student loans varies from lender to lender. They're often variable rate loans, which makes them unpredictable and potentially more expensive than federal student loans over time.
Can you tell me about your subs?
Subsidized student loans? Sure!
I was asking about the sandwich in this case, but please continue.
Certain federal student loans, such as the Perkins loan, are government subsidized. This means that the government pays the interest on your loans while you're in school, and for a grace period, usually 6 months after graduation.
What? That's awesome.
Private student loans are not subsidized, so interest starts accumulating from day one, and you're responsible for paying it, even while you're a student. Be aware that not all federal student loans are subsidized. The Stafford loan, for example, is a direct unsubsidized loan. You're still borrowing money from the government, but you're responsible for paying the interest that accrues during your time at school.
In that case, I want the sub one.
Well, it's not that simple. You need to make sure you qualify for the loan you want.
There is a range of federal student loans available, and they all have their own eligibility requirements. Some of the criteria are very basic, like being a full-time student and maintaining good grades. Other loans are only available based on financial need.
Fafsa is a free application you submit to find out if you qualify for financial aid.
Do private student loans have all of this eligibility stuff?
Although private lenders don't tend to factor in your financial need, they may have other requirements similar to those associated with regular personal loans. You may need to have a good credit score, for instance, or have a parent co-signer.
There are lots of options out there to choose from. But what I'm worried about is what happens after graduation.
Oh, I know what happens. You and your classmates throw your square hat things really high in the air and everybody cheers.
No, Jen, I meant paying back the student loan.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely more worrisome.
Repayment is an important factor to consider. Federal student loans generally provide more flexible repayment options than private student loans. Options include standard fixed payment plans, graduated payment plans where your payments increase over time as you build your career, and income-based payment plans. Federal loans are also easier to consolidate.
Consolidation is when you combine multiple loans into one single loan.
I'm guessing that private student loans don't have as many repayment options.
Private lenders tend to be more rigid when it comes to repayment, and private student loans can be trickier to consolidate.
I told you, there's so many things to consider.
Don't forget to compare additional factors like loan fees and borrowing limits.
Ooh, try and get one with no borrowing limit.
That's actually a terrible idea.
What?
Take my advice, kids. Only borrow what you truly need. Because just like these extra spicy buffalo wings, though it might seem like a good idea to load up, you will definitely pay for it later.
Ew.
That's nasty.
Certain federal student loans are government subsidized. Subsidized.
Cut. Let's do this again.
That's a long thing to say.
I need you to
It's
concentrate.
a hard word to say.
Take two.
I'm only a lunch lady.
I love that one.
Ellie, I don't know what's scarier, right? Not understanding how to approach the student loan conversation or the lunchroom lady. I'm
I
glad.
know. That was so good.
Yeah, that was funny. Right? I'm like, whoa.
So funny. Okay, I'm going to jump on over to our PowerPoint presentation. We're just going to jump right into the content. All right, so let's get this slide by slide here. All right, so you guys saw in the video two major types, right, of student loans. You've got your federal versus your private. Many students jump into student loan debt really fast without understanding what is really, like, they don't understand them until after they've already started them. So you guys hopefully will have a one-up by learning a little bit more about them. Federal is pretty easy to remember. They're funded by the government, the federal government. Simple enough. Private loans, those loans can come from banks, credit unions, schools, or other private institutions. Let's take a look at the differences in them. How is the interest charged in this case? So federal loans, the interest rate for federal student loans is set by Congress. It's a fixed rate that's often lower than private loan rates. Fixed rates also tend to be easier to budget for because they stay the same over time, okay? Private loans, they can vary from lender to lender as far as how the interest rate is applied because they're decided on and what we call underwritten internally. So what that means is whoever's approving the loan has their own guidelines, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But sometimes these type loans are often variable rate loans, which makes them kind of hard and unpredictable. And potentially it can be more expensive over time. Doesn't mean all of them are, just they're more likely to be variable rates if they're private. Okay, are the loans subsidized? I think you guys heard that word in the video. Certain federal student loans, such as the Perkins loan, is a government subsidized loan. This means that the government pays the interest on the loan while you're still in school, okay? And then it also usually includes a grace period as well, usually 6 months after you graduate. With a private loan, those loans are not subsidized, so the interest starts accumulating from the day that you get the loan and you're responsible for paying it, even while you're a student. Eligibility requirements. with federal loans, there are a range of different types of federal loans available, and they all have their own eligibility requirements as well. Some of the criteria are very basic, like being a full-time student, maintaining good grades, things like that. Other loans are only sometimes based on what your financial need is. The private loans, although private lenders don't tend to factor in financial need, which that's not always true. That's not always the case, especially with a credit union. I would think it would be different than, going to a bank. But there are certainly could be other requirements that might be similar to those with a regular, what we would call regular loan. So very similar to if you were trying to buy a car, or if you were trying to get a loan to buy, I don't know, an item like a lawnmower in your home or something like that, right? Or an engagement ring or something like that. So you may still need to have a good credit score, for example, and you may have to have a cosigner or a parent or someone like that co-sign with you. Not always the case, but more likely and more common than going with a federal loan. Now, you also heard us talk about FAFSA. So, FAFSA is free application for federal student aid to find out if you qualify for financial aid, okay? You can actually access the application by going directly to their site, which is fafsa.ed.gov. All right, what are your repayment options? With federal loans, they generally provide a little more flexibility in your repayment options based on if you're in school, do you need to defer them when you graduate and things like that. Options include standard fixed payment plans, graduated payment plans where your payments increase over time after you graduate while you're building your career, and that's kind of how it's designed. And then it's also sometimes based on your income. So based on how much you make, your payment could potentially change based on, that, because now you have the job that you went to school for, right? Got your degree for, so hopefully you'll be able to afford payment on it. So federal loans are definitely, federal loans are also easier to consolidate as well to one because they're all with the Fed. Private lenders tend to be a little more rigid when it comes to repayment. And private student loans can be trickier to consolidate because, again, they're very much like another general loan, okay? So other factors to include here, make sure that you compare other factors surrounding loans, like are there any fees, tax deductions, right? Do I have restrictions on what I can spend the money on, right? Because that is huge. I know there are some that have no restrictions at all, and some young folks are blowing it on, are not school related. When I say not school related, I mean classes, books, online books, even living expenses when you're in school. Usually it's more frivolous spending and entertainment type things. So you want to make sure that you're spending your money on actual school related things. But anyways, there may be restrictions on some of those. And then there could be penalties or borrowing limits as well. So no matter how you choose to finance your education, we want you to fully understand what you're signing and what you're getting into, and borrow what you only absolutely need. That's the other thing. I think a lot of young people go, oh, well, I'll just, because I qualify, I'll get everything that I can. I'm going to live it up my freshman year, my sophomore year. And then you graduate and maybe you have a challenge finding the right job, right? Finding a job that pays what you thought it would pay. And now you have to pay these student loans back. You don't have the income to support it, right? Like that's a huge issue. I know, Herschel, when you're doing some of your one-on-ones with folks through counseling, student loans are a big hurdle for folks, aren't they?
It is. It's a challenge because the way they go out and solicit these additional funds, it make it challenging for us to underwrite and evaluate true risk associated with it, because one, they don't have the stability that shows that's what we need. Is one of the pillars for lending is the intention, right? That's the intention. Like, you don't show that you intend to stay on a job. You don't have one quite yet. and then you don't show the intention to pay back.
Yeah, and I think it's probably one reason why you'll find a lot of credit unions or banks don't offer student loan packages, because the risk is so high. And we're going to talk to the adults at the noon class about the number of people who default on student loans. And when we say default, we mean people who aren't paying them back. So it's one thing to not pay the federal government, right? Because then it's tied up in, you have to maybe do back pay once you start filing your taxes, or if your parents are still claiming you and you're not paying your student loans, you can get into a whole bunch of issues with that. So imagine also privately, if you've banked with the credit union your whole life, you had your first account with us, and then you go to college and let's say you get a small loan to help you with college expenses. If you default on that loan, how does that look for you coming back and borrowing more funds from us to help you increase your credit score? It's going to make you less favorable when you're ready to get your first car, when you're ready to buy a home. We don't want you running away from us. We want you thinking about us to be that lender, and we want to be able to confidently say yes. So you can see how it kind of becomes very, very, very risky for the credit union to go, yeah, sure, I'm going to fund your whole college, when you've never had to balance a checking or a draftable account, right? A debit account. You've never had to manage money before. So sometimes, getting your parents involved in co-signers is important, but that also is a super risky thing for your parents as well. So anyways, I'm gonna get off that soapbox. Okay, let's jump on over to ways that you can save money on tuition, and then we'll have a little bit more discussion.
Why does college financing have to be so dang tricky? Shh. And tuition is crazy expensive? Youch! Shh. Where's a step stool when you need one?
Tell you what, I'll help you out with your tuition troubles if you stop talking out loud to yourself.
Oh, okay, deal.
Now, as a librarian, I've seen students come and go, and a lot of them leave college with enormous amounts of tuition to pay back. I'm talking staggering, outlandish dollar amounts.
Oh boy.
It's a sad story, but you can minimize or possibly even eliminate tuition costs if you're smart about it. Consider taking care of your core credits at a local community college, then transferring to your school of choice to complete your degree. You can also explore challenging for credits. Some colleges allow you to skip a course if you can demonstrate that you're proficient in the subject matter. This can save time and reduce your overall tuition. A smart, proactive plan can help you save lots of cash.
Make a pro game plan. Got it.
Once you have your plan in place, it's time to start financing your tuition. First and foremost, go for the free money.
Ooh, I like the sound of that.
There is a ton of free money out there just waiting to be claimed. So apply for every scholarship, grant, and award you can. You don't have to be a mega genius or a sports star to get a scholarship, and you might qualify for grant money you wouldn't expect. Free money can come from a variety of government, nonprofit, or private sources. Your employer, your parents' employers, professional associations, and service clubs may also provide funding. It's important to act quickly and keep on top of new deadlines throughout your studies, so free money can catch some of your tuition for you. Think fast.
Gotcha. Grab the free cash.
Next, use your money, which means provide some extra funding for yourself. Education savings are great if you have them. Otherwise, consider a part-time job or a work-study program. Earning while you study will help you pay as you go and will keep your tuition from adding up.
Self-reliance. Check.
Good attitude, but your money might only get you so far, which brings us to borrowed money. If you do need student loans, make sure you trim down the amount you borrow as much as possible. Some schools even offer tuition installment plans that can reduce your need for loans. For any money you do borrow, it's essential to spend it wisely. Though it may be tempting to max out your loans and credit lines to live the college dream, you might wake up from that dream extremely broke. I mean ridiculously broke, up to your eyeballs in piles of debt.
Okay. Yep. Eyes on the prize.
Good. So, to save on your tuition, use free money, your money, and borrowed money. In that order. Lesson over. Bye!
What a nice lady. Shh. Whee! What?
Don't make me shush you.
I'm going to jump on over to the presentation and we're going to talk through some of this stuff. How can I save money? This is the more practical part of our lesson today. Show me what I can save money on. And Jen learned a lot of stuff in her library visit there, right? So a couple of stats for you to keep in mind. Where do you fall in this? About 4 out of 10 college students have taken out loans to pay for school. So makes you think about, what are the other guys doing? What are the other 6 students doing? So we want you to fall into the other 6 category if you can help it. If you have to borrow money, totally cool. A lot of people do. Let's just make sure you're setting yourself up to be able to pay that back and that you're realistic and you know what to expect, right? So there's about $1.4 trillion in student debt right now that is collectively held by about 44 million Americans. And then when most of these folks are graduating, the average student loan borrower owes about $37,000 in student loan debt. Okay, so financing your education the smart way by using free money, your money, borrowed money. Okay, you learned what those were from our super serious librarian, but let's break those down. So free money. I mean, we've always learned our whole lives that money doesn't grow on trees. There's really nothing is really free. Okay, well, fine then. If you believe that, don't fill out any scholarship applications and don't try to get awarded any awards or prizes. But scholarship students awards are certainly the best way that you can reduce your tuition costs. And if you're a high school student watching this now and you're a senior graduating this year, first of all, I'm super bummed that you don't get to throw your cap up into the sky like Jen did in the first video. But, you know, we applaud you for your hard work, and we are hoping that you have some scholarships or student awards that are going to help you pay for college. All right, so free money. Ditch the stereotype, guys. Young people, it's hard for you guys to do this, but you certainly don't have to be the top of your class or the top athlete on the team in order for you to qualify for scholarship money. You just have to get out there and ask. Some of you guys get really jaded by filling out 1 or 3 applications, getting no's, and then you give up, right? But the kids who are getting scholarships are the ones who keep filling out the applications and keep applying. There are so many opportunities out there, so please don't let any old stereotypes discourage you from applying. There's some based on gender, there's some based on race, some based on
demographic. Kelly, that's several
right.
scholarships that are for free money that are awarded. Churches, booster groups. There are, like you shared, there are so many different opportunities for you to take advantage. Do not give up. I know that you said that once, but please say it again. Be persistent. Do not give up. Do not give up.
Yeah, y'all just keep filling them out. It's not forever. It's only temporary. Kelly?
And don't just go after the great big scholarships. Go after those little ones, because the little ones add up, and the little ones are a lot easier to get. So focus on all of them, not just the big, huge ones.
Yeah, that little one could pay for 1 or 2 semesters. You're doing 2 semesters a year, there's a whole year's worth of college paid for, guys. It's totally doable. All right, expand your search, right? They come from a variety of government, nonprofit, private sources. Think about your parents, where your parents work. Sometimes their employers will offer scholarships to family members. When you get a job, if you already have a job in high school, consider your employer. I know Envision has tuition scholarship opportunities for us. So we have a lot of students who are going to school, but also work with us, and they may be a great candidate to do an employee type scholarship when they're committing to work in that field, right? Financial institutions and other service clubs may also provide funding for scholarships. So a small sum can certainly add up quickly, like Kelly was saying. While it's tempting for you to save your efforts for those big ones, make sure that you apply for those smaller ones. All right, so paying for school with your own money. While earning while you're studying will certainly help you reduce your costs of school, right? So we want to consider look for a part-time job if you can make it happen. We understand a lot of you guys, your first year, you want to have freedom, you want to have flexibility. Some of you want to party. That's not what college is about. We want you to work your class schedule and then find something productive to do outside of that, right? And then also having a savings can really help you prepare as well. So, So whenever you guys are in school, if you're making money, right, and earning money, or right now, if you're not in college yet, but you're in high school or middle school, and you want to be able to save up, go ahead and start a savings account. Help your parents out. Okay. There's also work study programs. Work study programs allow you to make some money while gaining experience in the skill that is relevant to your field of study, right? And then, of course, on-campus gigs, can you make a couple of bucks by tutoring, by maybe reselling some of your old textbooks? I know a lot of stuff is digital now, so you may not necessarily be able to do that one, but maybe you can apply for being a teacher assistant with one of your professors, especially if it's in a field that really interests you. So here we go about the borrowed money here. So if you're required, if you require student loans to finance your education, again, that is okay. We just want to make sure that you minimize the amount that you're borrowing, okay? So we want you to be able to look for installment plans and tuition plans at your school that maybe split up some of the tuition into multiple payments that could be more affordable for you, okay? So reducing your class costs. Save money on tuition by taking your core credits at a local community college when transferring to your dream school afterwards. A lot of you guys make it really, really, really tough on your parents. And you're like, this is the only place I want to go. Well, guess what? If they're paying for it or they're co-signing on a loan for you to go to school, they kind of do have a say. However, you guys might be able to find a happy medium, right? So I took this route. I don't know about you guys, but I took this route. I went to our local community college, which is behind Kelly there, TCC, right? And then I transferred my sophomore year to FSU, which is behind me now, where I got my my BS degree. So I was able to save a lot of money by doing that, okay? Now, granted, I also had a scholarship as well. So you pair that with the choice, and we saved quite a bit of money. All right, and then some colleges also allow you to skip a course if you can demonstrate that you're proficient in the subject matter, saving you both time and money. Talk to your college admission advisors that work at your school and ask them about this, because this might be something that you didn't know before, that you might be able to automatically skip a class or a course because you've already shown that you're very proficient in it in high school. How cool is that? And then you're saving the money on the credits by not having to take the class. And then here's the big one. We teach you guys this in all the classes, right, that we've teaching you. They're not designed to finance your lifestyle. I've already said it. But we want you to borrow only what you need.
What do you mean, Kelly? I can't go and buy those sneakers with my government check that's provided me for school. I have to walk to class. Why can't I buy those brand new Jordans or buy that brand new shirt? I know everybody in class is going to be like, oh, man, that's a nice shirt. Why can't I do that with my college money, Kelly? It's not yours. It's mine. Why can't I do that?
Exactly. Because here's my thing that I would say to you, Herschel, is that if you might not be guaranteed to get the job that you really want with that degree that you're working so hard for, and the interest on that loan to pay for those might cost a whole lot more than the shoes are actually even worth by the time you make it onto college campus. So yes, be very careful of that stuff, guys. All right. So Kelly, Herschel, what are some final thoughts that you want to share with our kiddos today? Who wants to go first?
Herschel.
Honestly, I'd just like to say thank you, Kelly, first and foremost, for introducing our students to this approach of understanding how to save, but more so how to stay in the college approach. Envision Credit Union. I mean, we're known for carrying kids from career. It doesn't stop just because you're not that profession. They often come back and continue to do business with us as successful, established adults. That's what I love seeing happen. That's what we want to continue to see happen. Kelly, thank you for sharing this with our
Yeah,
viewers.
that is so true. We get to grow up with you guys. Kelly?
And so one thing that I take away from it is free money is good money. So look to see what's out there that's available for you, and go for it. And you know, the borrowed money, keep that to a minimum. It will be so nice for you to walk away from college with your degree and not owe anybody money. And if you can put off those little things that you want while you're in college, if you can just put those off a little bit, the reward in the end is huge. I mean, not having to make a payment on stuff that you don't even have anymore is a wonderful thing.
Yeah, so true. Don't forget to like, share, comment, be entered to win. And thank you guys for joining us. Happy graduation. Graduates, you only have 3 more weeks. Yay! 3 more weeks. Hashtag adulting, right?
That's all right. I like that.
You're going to be there a lot sooner than you realize. You've always wanted to grow up your whole life. Well, here you go. This is your chance. So we wish you the very best. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Herschel. And I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Same place, same time.
See you there.